Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this afternoon for another album review for Robbie the Used self-titled album. It's the same name as Robbie the Used for the album name. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the 12 tracks, which is like 35 and a half minutes, and let you know my thoughts on this whole record as a whole. So let's dive into this album review. Now, with what I listened to, it starts with Terrible. Not a good song. I think he's going more pop friendly with this record, and it's just not working. So, a 2.75 out of 5 for Terrible. I'm just not feeling for this track. It's not connecting well with me. It's repetitive, it's cringy, it's boring, and this track does nothing for me. So, 2.75 out of 5. Always Gonna Be Like This is just another generic song that I'm just like, skip. So it's bad, it's disappointing, and it just didn't offer much. So 2.75 out of 5. Gladiator is a disappointing track too. Repetitive chorus for sure, and the lyrics are repetitive and samey and don't really offer enough substance to keep the track afloat. So this track is a letdown for sure. 2.75 out of 5. Sorry, my neck needed popping. It was just, my neck was getting some cramps. So next track is The Middle. This track is even more cringy, and Burt McCracken's vocals, or with what it sounds like, it didn't do it for me. With how he was singing the track overall, so I was not a fan of this one, and this is a 2.5 out of 5. The melody is like kid-friendly, childish in a way. I don't know how to explain it. It sounds bubblegum pop bullshit, and it doesn't do well. 2.5 out of 5. Just a Little Bit is another bad song that I'm not feeling for. It just didn't do very well execution-wise with the melody and Bert's vocals, or Robbie the Used, or whatever he's calling himself. I think it's Burt McCracken that's doing this record, but this track did not work. So 2.5 out of 5. Wake Up Call is a disappointing one. It just, chorus is cringy. It's very generic, the chorus, and it's not in a good way. So this track didn't flow very well with how it sounded. So this is a 2.75 out of 5. In My Dreams is a disappointing song too. I was not a fan of this one either. I just felt that Bert's vocals, or Robbie the Used's vocals is what he's calling himself, didn't sound very good in this one. And it just played it safe in the worst way possible. So this is a 2.75 out of 5. Blame You did have something going for it, but it's the way Robbie was singing the track, or Burt McCracken as his name. It wasn't flowing well. It just sounded cringy when the chorus came in, and just execution-wise, this track was a fail. It was a failure. So 2.75 out of 5. Push Me is cringy, featuring Sierra Deaton. Cringy song for sure. I'm just not feeling for this one. I felt nothing for this track. I felt like I was listening to him whining and complaining in this track with his singing Push Me and all that. It's like, dude, like, come up with better lyricism for your songs. Or better yet, just give up. Personally, with the music stuff. I mean, you can do what you want, but still, I just don't feel like this artist has been very relevant as of nowadays. So, pretty much 2.5 out of 5. Sierra Deaton didn't do much in the track. It just didn't execute and structurally sound well produced and all that. So, 2.5 out of 5. Gold in the Ashes is a disappointing track. Not feeling for this one either. I felt for the runtime it was going for, it didn't offer shit. It was just utter bullshit, this track, for like 2.5 minutes. So you ain't in for anything special. 2.75 out of 5. Something you can count on, just relies on the pop beat too much, and a chorus that doesn't offer anything. It's just a bland chorus, a stale chorus that didn't do shit. So I didn't feel for Burt McCracken's vocals in this. It wasn't doing very well, and execution-wise, it was a failure. 2.5 out of 5. The Feels is the worst track on the record. Not one of the worst, but it's as bad as the others. Let's just say that. So 2.5 out of 5 for The Feels. This track closes out the record, and not in a good way. So, not feeling for it. 2.5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think this will be on my worst albums of 2024. And in the next week is when I'm doing that video. During next weekend. Probably the end of next weekend is when I'm doing it. But still, the fact of the matter is, Bert's singing and his sing whines or whatever he's whining about in this track, it's not doing very well with the execution. And this track, or this album, can literally just be forgettable. It's a forgettable record. It's not one of the worst albums, but it is one of the bad albums of this year. One of them. It'll be on the list of worst albums of 2024, I can tell you that. And along with his band, The Used, his new album, Meds, is on that list too. So you can guarantee that I'm not as much of a fan of The Used as I was before. I think they've fallen downhill big time after the collab with MGK in 2020 with his Tickets to My Downfall record. I think Bert and the other band have fallen downhill musically with what they've been going for with their music now. It has not been sounding very good. And execution-wise, the tracks don't work. So if I were to give RobbieTheUsed self-titled album a score, I'm feeling a disappointing 4.5 out of 10. Fuck this record. It was trash. I wasn't a fan of it. And it just was disappointing for how it sounded. So, 4.5 out of 10 for RobbieTheUsed self-titled album. I hope you enjoyed this album review this afternoon. And sorry about the background noise. My nephew's throwing a fit. And with that being said, thanks for watching this review today.